Aggressive defiance reacts. Aggressive as fuck. Like, comment, and subscribe.
Yeah. If they don't like it, they can stay mad as hell. We don't apologize. Make them mad, make them lose their mind. Say it too real, watch them fall behind. Let them talk shit while we rise instead. Fuck their opinions, make them mad, make them mad, make them see red. Every damn word goes straight through their head. No fake smiles, no peace to add. We just show up and make them mad. I built this lane out of broken glass. Why they fake laugh? I just outlast. Back row grip with a digital bite. Turn every comment into a fight. They want me quiet, they want me tame, but I'm too damn loud for their little game. I don't fit boxes, I break the frame, and I call them to fight into the name. Let them screenshot, let them complain. I turn their hate into propane. One spark hits and the whole thing blows. That's just how this damn channel goes. Make them mad, make them lose their mind. Say it too real, watch them fall behind. Let them talk shit while we rise instead. Fuck their opinions, make them mad, make them mad, make them see red. Every damn word goes straight through their head. No fake smiles, no peace to add. We just show up and make them mad. Talk real tough from a glassy screen, but fold like cheap chairs when it gets mean. I don't chase trends, I chase impact, and I leave a mark that don't fade back. This ain't for clout, this ain't for fame, it's for the ones who remember the name. Aggressive defiance, carved in steel. Say what I want, don't ask how they feel. If they got a problem, they can line up next. I don't do threats, I just redirect. Turn their noise into content fuel and watch them lose their cool, looking like fools. Yeah, they wanted silence, they got volume instead.
What's up, everybody? Let's go, let's go!
Make them mad, make them lose their mind. Say it too real, watch them fall behind. Let them talk shit while we rise instead. Fuck their opinions, make them mad, make them mad, make them see red. Every damn word goes straight through their head. No fake smiles, no peace to add. We show up loud and make them mad.
What's good, everyone? How are you guys doing? Hope you guys had a good day. You guys have a great day. I had a wonderful day. Hello, everybody that's in here already. Salute to Hank Bridges. What's up, Hank? Hello, Stacy. How are you doing? You did, you do. What's up? You did. How you doing, Rebecca? Ain't it funny? These people want out of jail. I mean, I guess anybody that goes to jail wants out of jail, right? I don't know what to think about this. Miss Robinson, what's poppin', Miss Robinson? Angela Sparks, Twisterella. Hello, Kelly. How are you? What's up? What's up, everybody? Cuddle Monster, good to see you, baby. What's up, Hummingbird? Beautiful chat we have here. Jacqueline, hi. What's up, Jackal? Everybody in the house tonight. Everybody Wang Chong tonight. Good to see y'all in the house. All right, man, I'm going to bring this on in, and we're going to get down to it. So it looks like both women in this case are filing to get out of jail, and I just think that is atrocious, y'all. I think they shouldn't be able to get out of jail without paying a bond, dude. I'm sorry. There's no way they should be able to sign themselves out. Like, this is crazy, bro. Like, what is going on?
They come from their father, who's expected to make a request that could turn the entire case upside down. I'll tell you all about it. I'm Anjanette Levy, and this is Crime Fix.
What's up, Anjanette? What up, Anjanette?
In jail in Southeast Ohio since June 30th. He's the father of the 16 children that sheriff's deputies and state agents removed from the house in Vinton County. Sider's attorney is making a move that could bring his case to a screeching halt. You'll recall the conditions in the home were described as disgusting. The children ranging in age from 1.5 to 18. All of them were largely off the radar for years, with the exception of a truancy complaint filed in neighboring Gallia County back in 2021.
That's a good thought. Do you guys think that there should be laws now starting to be put in place for people like this? What's up, Kimmy? We just started, baby. We just started. Don't you think that, like, there should be laws for, like, so that people can't go undetected? That's what I was wondering, but you'll see. You'll hear this, Rebecca. That's a good question, but you'll see.
Gary Siders Jr. faces 16 counts of child endangering his wife, Elizabeth Siders.
I thought it was 17. Why does the paperwork read 17? Why does the paperwork read 17? Everybody says 16, but the intake says 17. Who knows? Intake could have had it wrong.
Siders faces the same charges. Gary Jr.'s parents, Gary Siders Sr. and Christina Siders, face the same charges. All four have pleaded not guilty. Now, the child endangering charge states that the children were abused and that the abuse resulted in serious physical harm. All of the children are in therapeutic foster care. Gary Sr. isn't in great shape. He's the only family member who has been released from jail. He's receiving treatment for a serious medical condition, and the prosecutor has said he is not a threat to the public.
What's up, Nana?
A competency exam has been ordered for Gary Sr. because it appeared he didn't really understand what was going on during his first court appearance. Gary Siders Jr., his son, is 36 years old, and he appears to be in much better shape physically than his
Absolutely, he does. Absolutely.
father, who's 73 years old. You can see Gary Jr. here with his dad, as both were booked into the Southeast Ohio Regional Jail. Gary Jr. appears to move around just fine.
Yeah.
And it didn't appear that he had trouble understanding directions
Nope.
from the corrections officers, although we don't have any.
If you ask me, he looks like he's understanding everything. That lift your leg, that, like, you have to understand this. You have to understand what's going on right here in this process. And you can see his dad don't know too much. But old Gary, he knows the process.
Audio to go with this video. And at Gary Jr.'s first court appearance, he answered the judge's questions.
Do you understand those pleas? How do you plead?
They're going to try to play incompetent, but this man had the wits enough to him to say, I need to speak to a lawyer first. Don't worry, I'm getting that for you. I'm getting it for anybody that wants that song, y'all. I'll give it to you.
Yes, I will enter a not guilty plea for you at this time then, and you can confer with counsel.
So Gary Jr., at least
He
during
knew
his
to do
initial
that.
appearance, asked to speak with a lawyer before entering a plea, and Judge Rogers entered a not guilty plea on his behalf. Gary Jr. at that time appeared to know enough to ask to speak to a lawyer. That is his right, of course.
Yep.
Now he has a lawyer, and that lawyer is planning to ask the court for a mental health evaluation to
Well. This is going to take forever. This case is going to take forever. Yeah, he wants to play crazy. This is going to take forever. Like, it's almost like, do you think you can play with the system and that, like, by doing this, it somehow may go all the way? No, dude. No. Oh, I heard that. I seen that too, Angela. There's another case that happened in Indiana we may be talking about tomorrow, where a young lady cut her father's heart out. This just happened. They had to gas her out of the house. She was strung out on meth and cut her daddy's heart out.
Determine whether Gary Jr. is fit to stand trial. Attorney R. Lee Roberts has filed a motion asking Judge Rogers to allow him to file a motion requesting a competency evaluation under seal. That means we wouldn't be able to read it.
See, his attorney understands that this motherfucking case has got a lot of eyes on it. But he wants everything under seal, you know? And it probably will be because it's medical. Man, dude.
Defendant's competency to stand trial has been raised, and the documents at issue concern defendant's present mental health condition and requests for psychiatric examination. These documents contain highly sensitive mental health information or information directly reflecting defendant's psychiatric condition, the public disclosure of which would unnecessarily invade defendant's privacy and compromise the confidentiality of competency-related proceedings. Defendant seeks only limited sealing. Defendant does not seek to seal the entire case record, but only the competency motion, proposed entry that disclose or concern defendant's mental health condition and competency evaluation. No less restrictive alternative would adequately protect the confidentiality interests at issue because the substance of the filing itself concerns defendant's mental condition and need for evaluation. Good cause, therefore, exists to permit the filing of these limited documents.
Dude, I just don't know how. I just don't know how that this guy is going to be able to claim that he's incompetent to stand trial. Right? Because that's what he's filing, a competency claim. He's not saying he's crazy. He's just saying, hey, I'm crazy enough to where I can't hold my own trial. I can't be held trial. Like, I can't go through the process. I don't understand what's going on. But that's where you have an attorney, too. And you don't always have to understand everything. But it's just very hard for me to believe that when she was just popping kids out left and right, man. What's up, Chrissy, with the K? You're just popping kids out left and right, bro. And I get it. Crazy people fuck too, but like, dude,
under seal. So in that motion asking for leave to seal the motion, Attorney Roberts makes it clear that he has highly sensitive mental health information related to his client's current mental condition. And he's making it clear that he wants him to undergo a psychiatric evaluation. Gary Jr.
So this guy's probably fucking seeing a doctor or something, getting Ritalin, you know, or getting Adderall. Who knows? You know, we don't know. We'll never know, probably. It might come out in like somebody else's paperwork. You know, when you get court minutes, it might read out on somebody else's paperwork a little bit, but that's about all we're going to get from it. But like, just because you've seen a doctor or a psychiatrist before, it doesn't make you crazy. Let's make that pretty clear, okay? It doesn't make you crazy. It doesn't claim that you're going to be crazy for the rest of your life now that this something. Like, why all of a sudden are we claiming crazy, but we didn't claim crazy before the kids were all born?
Also faces 4 misdemeanor counts of public indecency. He's accused of exposing himself to someone on 4 occasions between May 23rd and May 31st at the home on Omer Street. The complaint says the person Junior exposed himself to was not a family member. Now, this may be part of the reason.
So why can't we know why don't somebody FOIA that? Well, like, why can't we find out who it was? And like, we should be able to find that out, right? What's up, Lee? We should be able to find that out. because it's a victim.
This competency issue, why Gary Jr.'s attorney asked for a continuance in that public indecency case just recently. So what happens during a competency evaluation? I thought we should bring in Dr. Daniel Bober to answer that question for us. He's a forensic psychiatrist and performs competency evaluations. Thanks for joining us, Dr. Bober.
Great to be here.
Talk to me if you would a little bit about,
check.
First of all.
And let me tell you something. If he gets a check, I think the children get a check, right? Right? I'm pretty sure that's how it goes, right? Hi, Arista.
This request, the attorney for Gary Siders Jr. is raising competency as an issue. Does that surprise you?
No, it doesn't. In the state of Ohio, people are presumed to be competent, and competency can be raised by either the prosecution, the defense, or the judge themselves. So in this particular case, what we're looking at is the defendant's present state of mind, distinguished.
Now, here's the problem. I don't think he's competent. Like, now I could understand this guy, but when did, you know what I just thought of? You know what just crossed my mind could be? When he lost it is when things went downhill, right? Because they're all showing a lot of photos of him when he was clean, when he had, him and his wife was clean, the place was clean around him. And then, like, maybe he lost it, and like they said, youngster couldn't keep up with the daily responsibilities. Just the person with the disability? Okay.
That from their state of mind during the commission of the crime, which would be a
well, that's when they're on child support. Never
sanity
mind.
Evaluation. And so we're looking at a two-pronged test. We're looking at if the defendant is able to understand the nature and the objectives of the proceedings against them, and they're able to assist in their own defense. So if they are deficient in either one of those or both, they would be found incompetent.
Mm-hmm. The judge.
Yeah, but that doesn't take anything away from this. They're just going to be housed in like a prison hospital. It could be, Angela. Like, that means he'll just have to sit in some prison hospital somewhere until he's able to stand trial. They just did it with the biggest lolcow ever, Daniel Larson. Daniel Larson threatened to blow up the White House, and they come and got him. They arrested him. He was crazy. Everybody knew he was crazy. The trolls just kept fucking getting to him and harassing him and all this shit, making him believe some artist in Hollywood loved him. It was wild. But that's what he said over the internet. And they come and got him, and they made him sit for like 2 years. And then he just now stood trial, and now he's just now out. So it's been like 4 years Daniel Larson's been gone. Yep. You don't get to, the case doesn't go away. They just wait for you till you're ready.
More than likely grant this motion, this request from Gary Siders Jr.'s attorney to file this motion under seal because it contains in his
it even looks like grandma's got it all together. It even does.
View mental health information. So we're at a loss here for knowing a lot more about this family, but it's astounding to me that he would have any concrete mental health information available just in the way they were living. And we don't really know if he was receiving any mental health treatment over the last, 5 years or so.
All true. And it's important to note that even if you are suffering from a psychiatric illness, for example, schizophrenia or bipolar disorder, that doesn't per se mean that you will be found incompetent. So it's really about your present state at the time. And if you're able to.
Yeah. So if Grandpa was aware at any time while all this was going on, he's going to have to go through this trial too. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Understand the proceedings in the court and work with your attorney. Some of the skills that we're talking about, for example, would be knowing the roles of the various courtroom participants, knowing the role of the prosecutor.
Like right there. At what point did everything shift to where, I don't know, maybe I'm just thinking a little bit too much outside the box. And I'm not going to do that. Clarksburg? No, okay.
And the defense attorney. So, for example, a question we may ask is, can the defense attorney and the prosecutor ever switch places? We're trying to make sure that the defendant and their constitutional rights are protected and they're able to participate in the process and do so in a way that's effective for them.
Earlier we showed a clip of Gary Jr. in court. The attorney, or the judge rather, during the initial appearance was explaining to him the pleas he could enter, and he asked to talk to a lawyer before doing so. And then the judge, of course, understood that and entered a not guilty plea on his behalf. So that right there shows me that he understood enough to actually ask for a lawyer. He wanted to consult with an attorney.
Yep. Anybody that don't know any better, they're going to talk away. They're going to be like, yeah, Your Honor. Yeah. Yes, yes. He said, I need to speak with my attorney if I even tell you anything.
What does that tell you about his potential competence here?
I don't know if we could draw too many conclusions from that. I mean, he may have known enough to know that he knows what he doesn't know and he needs to ask an attorney. If he were to be found.
But doesn't that make you competent still? I think if you know enough what you know of and you need to ask an attorney, that makes you very competent. That's what that makes you. Very competent.
Competent. Then the court looks at, is he incompetent but restorable or not restorable?
And he's standing up showing you all his tattoos. You know how many tattoos I'd give these people? The ones they can see. That's it. I don't just start offering up tattoos to these people unless they go looking. Prison system goes looking. But like when you go into jail, you ain't got to show them every goddamn tattoo. No. He's just up there offering them away, boy. I got one up here, man. Got one here. I got one over here, man. On this arm too, man. All the way up. Got him under here. I got one on my leg over here, one on my leg over there. Like, dude, what are you doing? Yeah, I think you're very competent then.
If he's incompetent but potentially restorable, he would be committed to a psychiatric hospital or some outpatient facility where they could try to restore his competency and potentially receive involuntary medication. And
yeah, see, and the thing is, they'll get him back normal to stand trial, and then after so long, they give him like the best defense. I guess they give him a defense, and then he has to go to trial anyway. I think the max they can hold you is 8 years, 7 years. I looked this up with Daniel Larson. And I think it's like 8 years. They can wait to make you stand trial. It makes me wonder if he has. I don't know.
Generally,
nobody's found
serious
anything.
Felonies in the state of Ohio, that could be up to a year. If he's incompetent but not restorable, then at some point he may be committed civilly to a psychiatric hospital if the court believes that he's guilty of the crime by clear and convincing evidence and he's still a danger to the community. He could be committed to a psychiatric hospital up till what the maximum sentence would be if he were to be found guilty of the crime.
Mm-hmm.
They'll sentence him to a hospital, bro. That motherfucker be so fucked up when he gets out. He'll never think about doing this again. They'll have him so doped up and fucking tweaked out. I would never want to go to a state hospital over prison. That's crazy. No. Don't let people fool you in thinking that going to a state hospital is better than going to prison. They're lying to you. Prison can be an inconvenience depending on where you end up at. But if you end up someplace that's got like 2-man cells and you got a good roommate, I mean, you could easily do your time. But like a state hospital is going to do one thing for sure, and that's dope you up. Dude, when I was at Westville Prison Facility, it was up in Westville, Indiana. It's a rowdy son of a bitch. It's got underground tunnels and shit all through it. It's a crazy fucking prison, dude. Motherfuckers get shanked in the tunnels, going to get commissary, beat up, bringing their bags back. It was nuts. But on the other side, there was a wall, right? There's like a big wall that you couldn't go over. You had to go through this gate. There's like a gate entrance. And when you go through that entrance, on that side was all psychiatric patients, all dorms for them and shit. And then they had a lockdown unit. And they used to go by us in chow, like walking and shit down the hallway, dude. Their heads would be fucking dragging across the wall and shit, dude. Fucking just Thorazined out, bro. They'd walk around their yard because I was a pass runner. So I'd have to take passes up in there. And they would walk around their yard like zombies. Like straight up zombies, yo. Like I'd never seen no shit like that in my entire life. It was wild. Yep. You can check it. I'm telling you, they used to have this Thorazine unit, man. It was insane, man. These dudes were walking around just talking to themselves, blah, 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 in the air, like fucking zombies, man. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, Rista. Like, fuck what they're talking about.
Into your office
Make him stand
or in the
trial.
alternative, you go to a jail to evaluate Gary Siders Jr. for competency. How does that evaluation take place? How do you assess competency?
So it can be done by a clinical interview, and there are also a number of different instruments that can be used as well. But basically, we go down the list, and we're looking for these skills that they
were a little bit scarier than people like Kensington. They were a little bit scarier because you knew that they were in there for a bad reason. Because these were the people that like did bad crimes. They had a wall around them. There was like a wall. We were behind the wall too, but we were just on the opposite side of like the prison. You know what I mean? We would really never mix and mingle with them. Only like when they were going to chow or when I had to take a pass up in there and somebody needed to go to the doctor or something. But these people were fucking out there, dude. You'd go up on the unit and they'd just be in there fucking louder than hell, dude. I'd go up there delivering passes to the dude in the box. The officer used to sit in a box. It's like a caged-in box. And he used to sit in there and only come out every so often. That's how Westville was ran. I think that's what it is, Lee. I think he's trying to get out of it. The Thorazine shuffle, boy. I'm telling you, it's looking crazy shit, boy.
Need in the courtroom.
Never seen
in addition to
like
assisting in their own defense, working with their attorney.
Had these people under
for example,
control.
If someone is in the courtroom and they suffer from a mental illness or a defect where they can't sit still and they can't maintain composure and work with their attorney, then they're not going to be able to assist in their own defense. So there's all sorts of things that we look for in these types of evaluations.
Mm-hmm. How long does that take, that evaluation? Is that something that can be done, in an afternoon? Does it take a couple of meetings with a defendant? Usually
it takes a few hours. It can be done within 2 or 3 visits, and sometimes it can be done within a visit, depending on the severity of their illness. If their illness is so severe that it's immediately obvious that this person is not going to be able to work within that time frame, then you know pretty quickly what you're dealing with.
Man, that sucks. I want him to stay in trial.
feign incompetency during an evaluation or fake it or try to exacerbate symptoms?
Oh, yeah.
Yes. And very often psychologists will use instruments to detect that malingering or feigning that you're describing, which is not uncommon and for obvious reasons.
If you think you're going to trick a psychologist into thinking you're crazy, you're nuts. You're just as crazy as you might as well say you're crazy then. Because psychologists, dude, they know. They know when you're crazy or not. I don't know of anybody that's ever faked crazy, man. People usually are crazy. I mean, think about it. If you're faking you're crazy, aren't you fucking crazy? Right? You got to go in these doctors and shit, fucking acting like you're crazy. You got to be a little fucking crazy. It's so weird.
Why they wouldn't want to be found competent to appear in court.
So do you think that this will be something that can be done rather quickly, this evaluation?
I think so. I think we could probably get away with this in an afternoon.
Let's do it. Get it done.
Do you think that this will be raised for the other defendants? And I'm asking you to speculate.
Expect them all to do this. Expect them all to do this. I wouldn't be surprised if every single last one of them don't throw up mental health flags. Hey, I'm crazy. I didn't know we was living like that. Like, right? Yeah, like all I wanted was a Pepsi. You wouldn't give me a Pepsi, Mom. You wouldn't let me have the phone, Mom.
A little bit here, but we already have Gary Siders Senior undergoing a competency evaluation, and I think we could all see during his arraignment that he's clearly seemed a little out of it and didn't understand what was going on fully. So I think that's a much different situation. We have an elderly man dealing with a serious medical condition, and we don't know what that is. But this is different. This is a man in his mid-30s who has fathered, as far as we know, 16 children, and he is accused of abusing them and causing, serious physical harm to these children. That's the charge.
Well, it's true. There's a lot of layers to this, right? So if you're someone who's in the public who's looking at this case, you're looking at the way this guy treated these kids, and you're thinking, this guy has to be mentally ill if he would treat these kids this way, and he would do it for so long. But again, that doesn't necessarily mean he's incompetent. That is a totally separate skill set from, again, being found not guilty by reason of insanity. Two completely separate things. One is looking at his presence.
If they find these people not guilty, I will lose all hope in the fucking system, dude. I would. If they're able to not be found, I will lose all hope in the system.
Of mind during the time that he was committing the crime, and the other is looking at his present state of mind right now.
Yeah, and whether he can really assist his attorney with his defense.
I also think it's interesting that the attorney wanted to seal
He's not the
information.
I think we need to make it pretty fucking clear here that this guy's not the victim. He's not the victim. It ain't poor Gary Siders Jr. He might be crazy, y'all. No. Because even a crazy person should be held at the stake for doing shit like that to kids. Sorry, not sorry. Even a crazy person. So, crazy, not crazy, he needs the same fucking shit. That's how I see it. I do. Because I don't think we should even allow crazy people to do this to children. Am I wrong? I don't think our system should allow people to get off by claiming crazy when they do this to 16 kids.
In the docket, which may have to do with the fact that he was receiving some kind of psychiatric treatment, although it would be hard to imagine in these conditions that he was. Perhaps there is information that the attorney wants to protect to keep his information private.
Yeah, I found it interesting that he was
I don't care.
forecasting and telling us what his concerns are in the motion to seal and telling the court that. And then now, though, he's like, we need to keep the information sealed rather than redacting it. So it'll be interesting to see where this goes.
I don't
Dr.
even
Daniel
care.
Bober, thank you so much.
I don't even care. Crazy or not crazy, this guy should get what he deserves. Absolutely. Look at the house. I don't give a fuck. I don't care if you had 4 kids living like that. You ain't got them in school. You ain't teaching them a damn thing. You're running from fucking house to house so you don't get caught. You know what you're doing. Or you wouldn't have ever moved. You would have just gotten caught eventually. If you were crazy, right? But instead you moved because you knew what you were doing. You knew you didn't want to be caught. That's what it's going to say for in court, you know? Well, you were moving. You moved. You didn't want to be caught. That's the truth.
Thanks, Anjanette.
Where do you hear this?
I want to turn now to Jonna Spilbor. She's a criminal defense attorney and also the host of Positively Legal on the MK True Crime Network. Thank you so much, Jonna, for coming on.
Thanks for having me. I always love to join you, Anjanette.
I love having you join me. Jonna, tell me if you would, are you surprised by this request that Gary Siders Jr.'s attorney plans to make to the court for a competency evaluation?
Okay, so in all honesty, I'm not surprised because when you examine the facts of this case, this is like no other case I think we've analyzed in my career. Like, this is a really strange case with the level of neglect that went on with so many children for so long.
Definitely.
Now, here's the one thing that I think our viewers have to keep in mind. A competency hearing.
Mama's a MILF. Boy, look at her. You go ahead, Grandma.
For a competency determination is not the same as insanity. And a lot of people will confuse the two. So competency, why it makes sense here is because it's to gauge whether or not at the current time, so it doesn't look back really to the history, at the current time, does the defendant understand the proceedings and can he assist in his own defense? So we can probably make a short leap between, well, all right, there was a lot going on here for a long time that probably that indicates this defendant had deficient mental capacities. And now here we are facing several felony charges. And does he get it? Does he know where he is? Does he know what a court proceeding is? Does he understand what he is charged with?
Of course he does.
Does he understand what he's done?
Of course he does.
It does make sense. And I am not surprised by the
I think he does
on his behalf.
It doesn't surprise me either. But as you mentioned, and I think you made a very good point, competency is a totally different issue from an insanity defense. So basically his attorney is saying, like, I've met with him. I have concerns that he doesn't understand what's going on.
Hell no.
So now a mental health expert is going to evaluate that and present a report to the court. How common do you think these competency exams are in criminal cases? Because I know throughout the years, as I've covered cases in court, competency has been raised in a number of cases.
Yeah, they are fairly done frequently, I would say, depending on the nature of the case. And like I said, there could be a complete disconnect between what is going on inside the mind of a defendant now versus what was going on at the time crimes were committed. And you have to keep in mind, in this case, the crimes they must have begun years ago. We've got 16 kids ranging from infant to 8 months to 18 years. That's a long time to live in that kind of squalor. And here's the one thing I will tell you that bugged me. I said to myself, well, he must be competent because this family knew how to evade detection.
Now we move right along. Because now we got another request. Boy, oh boy, bro. Guess who else wants out of jail? Guess who else wants out of jail? He's a weenie wagger. Yeah. Guess who else wants out of jail? Huh. This one right here. She wants to go home. But where's home? I don't get this. You better just go rest your fucking neck on your bunk because you don't have a home. That motherfucker is destroyed.
66 years old. They are the younger members of the family's children, and I don't know what her mental state is.
The grandmother accused of child endangering in Ohio.
Her mental state. Her mental state. Fuck this shit. These motherfuckers knew what they were doing, and now they want to play crazy. What?
The so-called House of Horrors case has some big requests, and her attorney is telling us exactly what happened the day Christina Siders and her family were arrested and taken to jail. I have all of the details. I'm Anjanette Levy, and this is Crime Fix.
What's up, Anjanette? You're the beast. You're 66, call BS. I'm 48, call BS. I'm sure there's people younger than me that's called BS. What's up, 10-4? 10-4, good buddy.
Christina Siders is a grandmother and a mother. She's a wife, and she wants out of jail.
Yeah. Fucking, what do they call it? What do they say? Fucking devil wants water in hell, too. I don't fucking think so. Since when are we just going to start letting people out over this? Should any of them go home? Should any of them be released? 17 count. I think even having a bond's outrageous to me. It would be good for the income of the county if they were out on bond, but like 40 BS, 60 bullshit, bet, 50 BS. Fuck no, they shouldn't be out. None of them. None of them.
Christina Siders is accused of abusing 16 of her grandchildren by allowing them to live in conditions in a home in Vinton County, Ohio, that the sheriff said weren't fit for livestock. The children who were removed from the home, according to the prosecutor, suffered serious
too, and I would never
harm.
let him
The nature
like
of the
that.
physical.
I would take my grandbaby before anything. I would never let my grandbaby. They know it. My kids wouldn't do that shit anyways. They were raised better.
And emotional issues the children are dealing with remains under wraps. But we know all 16, including an 18-year-old, are in therapeutic foster care. Therapeutic foster care, it's different from traditional foster care. The caregivers are specially trained to help children who may have emotional or behavioral issues. Good. The county had to find families to take in all 16 children.
Damn. So they were split up. Okay, 410. I know that. I should have put that two together. My bad. From the fucking land. You from the land, huh?
Let that sink in. Christina faces those child endangering charges, and so does her husband, Gary Siders Sr. Their son, Gary Jr., and his wife, Elizabeth Siders, they face the same charges for their 16 children. All four have pleaded not guilty to these charges. Now they are just waiting to see when the case will be presented to a grand jury and what happens when the grand jury returns indictments. And it's possible the grand jury doesn't indict members of the Siders family. That's a possibility, but that seems very, very unlikely. And as 3 of the Siders family members remain in custody in Southeast Ohio, 2 of them want to be released from jail. Elizabeth Siders' attorney has asked that her bail be modified.
So Elizabeth wants to be out too. Isn't this funny? They want to go from a $300,000 bond to a sign yourself out bond. That would never ride in my courtrooms in Indianapolis. That would never see the light of day. There's no possible way to get a $300,000 bond and then out on OR it just ain't gonna happen. You might get a bond reduction hearing and knock $100,000 off or knock $200,000 off, but nah, man, you would never get that. This is like they're trying to play victim and shit. They're trying to play victim.
Saying she can't post any bail and wants to be reunited with her.
So if that's the case, we let all women out that's in jail then. I can't post bail and I can't see the kids that I mistreated. And well, cry me a fucking river. Cry me a river. Well, I can't make that. I can't post any bail, but listen to this shit.
Children. And now Christina Siders, the grandmother of the children, is also asking Judge Rogers to modify the terms of her bail. Christina, Gary Jr., and Elizabeth are being held on a $300,000 bond. Not one of them can post that much cash, not even close. That's painfully clear in this case. And if they did post bail, they would have to wear a GPS monitoring bracelet. And now Christina Siders' lawyer is asking that she be released from jail, and her attorney wants a mental health evaluation.
They're all going to pull the I'm crazy motive, right? They're all going to try to pull this. I still don't think if you're crazy, you should be able to get off on this. I'm sorry. You can be crazy and do a lot of things that I think you should be out on, but doing this to children, I don't think is one of them. Okay? Now, I'm pretty lenient when it comes to that shit, right? Because I've been to jail. I know the process. I know the court system sucks. I know the system is broken. I know the whole process is broken. You just got to know how to play it. But like, I think a lot of crazy people should get out on some wild shit, right? But not this one. Not endangering 16 kids. Not mistreating 16 kids, man. Absolutely not.
For her client. Attorney Kenda Roberts wrote, on June 30th, 2026, law enforcement arrived at defendant's home with the purpose of serving another member of defendant's household with an arrest warrant for unrelated misdemeanor charges. Nonetheless, defendant was detained and arrested outside her home. After providing a statement and cooperating with law enforcement during an interrogation at the Vinton County Sheriff's Office without counsel present, defendant was ultimately charged by complaint with one charge of endangering children, a second-degree felony for each of her 16 grandchildren who had been residing with their parents in defendant's rented home. Defendant has remained incarcerated.
Guess what? Every one of them run concurrent too. Every one of them charges should run not concurrent but consecutive. So that means whatever amount she gets that times 16.
Incarcerated since her arrest. I should point out, this was not just sheriff's deputies and agents with the state's Bureau of Criminal Investigation serving an arrest warrant on Gary Jr. for misdemeanor charges. Law enforcement has said they went to this home to execute a search warrant, searching for evidence of a crime they have yet to disclose. The manner in which those documents were sealed is being challenged at the Ohio Supreme Court. Bail is, of course, supposed to ensure that a person charged with a crime shows up for court. It's not supposed to be a punishment. Roberts cited case law, writing, if a court orders financial conditions of release, those financial conditions shall be related to public safety, the defendant's risk of non-appearance in court, the seriousness of the offense, and the previous criminal record of the defendant.
Yeah.
Roberts continued, the court must consider the defendant's ability to pay. Setting a high bail in order to keep someone accused of a crime incarcerated pretrial is both statutorily and constitutionally unlawful.
No, it's not. No, it's not. It absolutely isn't, because that's what they base this. They have a bail system. They probably put that bail up because it falls underneath that range. They have a whole system for this. Every county, every fucking system, every fucking city, every place you go to jail there's like a rating system of how high your bond's going to be. If you've been to jail before, if you're getting arrested for there's a whole system for it. I promise
Christina
you.
Sider's lawyer also questions the weight of the evidence against her. The state has charged defendant with endangering children, which would require evidence that on or about June 30th, 2026, defendant did abuse each of her 16 grandchildren and that she caused serious physical harm to every one of the children. To date, the defense has received scant evidence suggesting defendant committed any of the alleged offenses. The weight of the evidence against defendant is minimal. In fact, to date, there is no evidence that has been provided which would support the finding that defendant committed any acts of abuse, let alone that any of the children suffered serious physical harm because of abuse by defendant. To date, the state has presented evidence only that defendant resided and was present in the home on June 30th, 2026, and that the conditions of the home were unsanitary to the extent that the removal of the children from the custody of their parents was deemed necessary by authorities. Christina Sider's attorney says she has no prior criminal record, and while she can't return to the home on Omer Street, she has a place to stay if she's granted bail. Roberts wrote,
Where's she staying? Her family now? Now her family wants her? Yeah, they could be considered a flight risk. They've been running for fucking... Yeah, you're right.
Defendant has strong
Very
family
much
support.
so.
In fact, in release, defendant will reside with close
You're right,
family
Jack.
members who are capable and available to assist in ensuring defendant's appearance at future court proceedings and defendant's compliance with any conditions of pretrial release imposed by this court.
That's about the only thing she's got going for her, is that she's lived in Ohio all of her life. That's about it.
Court. Defendant's financial resources are limited as demonstrated by her indigent status. As such, she has no resources or access to means which would make her a significant risk of flight to avoid prosecution. Defendant has resided in southeastern Ohio all her life. Defendant has no family or other connections outside of the area. Defendant requires medical treatment related to her mental condition and many documented medical diagnoses, all of which can be addressed while defendant is not incarcerated in jail.
You got to be fucking kidding me that these two people were going to the doctor and were never taking their kids. You got to be fucking kidding me.
Roberts continued, writing, none of the statutory or constitutional factors relevant to this court's consideration of defendant's request that she be released on bail weigh in the state's favor. Rather, each and every factor weighs heavily in defendant's favor. Defendant poses no threat to the public. Defendant is not a flight risk. Defendant's lack of criminal history, age, medical concerns, family support, attorney-client relationship, and condition that she will be placed on GPS monitoring in release all demonstrate that she is not a flight risk and that she will appear in all future court appearances. Keep in mind,
where's she going? Where do you think she's going? Who's going to take her in? Her bubby? Yeah, they're moving big time.
Each defendant has waived his or her right to a preliminary hearing, which would have required prosecutors to present evidence to show there was probable cause that each of them had committed a crime. The case hasn't even gone to a grand jury that we know of. Now, Christina Sider's lawyer, she's not just asking for her client to be released on bail. She also wants her competency to stand trial evaluated.
So she's playing crazy too, guys. Mom decides to take the same route. Let me play crazy too. I'm crazy. I don't know what I was even doing with those kids. There wasn't just 16 of them fuckers running around everywhere. What? There's 16 of them. This isn't fucking 4 3 kids, 2 kids, 1 kid. There's 16 kids here. And everybody's going to play crazy like they didn't know they were neglecting these kids. That is absolutely crazy in itself.
Attorneys for Gary Jr. and Gary Sr. have also made that request. Roberts wrote, defendant by and through counsel and pursuant to revised code hereby raises the issue of her competence to stand trial. Counsel has reason to believe that defendant is unable to fully comprehend the proceedings in this court and is unable to assist counsel in the preparation and defense of this case. Defendant,
I call complete bullshit. I do call bullshit, man. I've been around the block a time or two, guys. Okay? I've been in the mud. I've been in the fucking gutter. I've been around the block a time or two. Let me tell you. And there's no fucking way that all 4 of them are crazy and letting these kids live like that and had no idea that they were doing it. You got to be fucking crazy. You got to be crazy to think that I'm going to believe that. All 4 of them suffer the same problem. They're all crazy. They all thought that having 16 children in a home that was treated that way was A-okay. There's no crime in this. We're just poor. No way. No way, Jose. It's almost hilarious, dude. But this is how they got to do it, kind of. Hopefully, Elizabeth wakes up and tells on her fucking old man for the grimy bastard he is. For the stupid fuck that just couldn't quit fucking. You slimy motherfucker. Ooh. Ooh. Look where they were living and how they were living and having sex in that mother. What? How? Yeah, that's just not poor. That's living in squalor. That's 10 times worse than the Whitakers were living, guys.
Moves this court to order that defendant undergo a competency evaluation to determine if defendant has the capacity to stand trial, and upon receipt of an evaluation report, set a hearing to determine competency.
I hope so, Lisa.
Now, there are certainly more questions than answers in this case, including the biggest. How did this happen? And how did Gary Siders Sr. and Christina Siders go from looking well and clean in this 2023 photo posted on Facebook to living in squalor and looking unwell?
Damn, dude. Dude, 3 years, man. 3 years. Dude, is this drugs? It just looks like drugs to me, man. Were all of them using drugs? Maybe? Because that's what it looks like. I'm telling you. Because it's very uncommon for them both to have something so sickening that they just fall apart. Alcohol? I don't know. I don't know. It looks like drugs for sure to me. It does. I don't know what it is either. I mean, that's why I'm just saying this is just my opinions and things, you know. My opinions will change, you know. As facts come out, my opinions will change. But like, this is just what drugs look like to me, you know? When you see a picture of somebody looking like this and then looking like this, it's usually drugs that did that to them. I mean, almost every time. And speed will do that shit. It'll suck your fucking life from you. Meth will suck you dry like he looks. He looks like he's dehydrated. He looks sucked in. He looks almost like he's dead now. But they were living in filth. They were living in squalor. Like, they were living in something that nobody ever should live like that. Oh, for sure, dude. For sure, 410, for sure. Oh yeah. Like, you can go on the website Faces of Meth, and it just shows you over and over these people before and after, and they just look fucked. And that just is what it looks like to me. The Board of Health visits the home and follows up with newborns to make sure they're cared for. See, you're supposed to do that in the States too, but you're supposed to have your own pediatrician, you know? Like, and you're supposed to do your own follow-ups. But we just don't have things in place that I think we should. A little bit, you know. I don't want the government intruding in our lives, don't get me wrong. I'm very constitutional. I'm a patriot. I don't want the government in our lives. But if it's for the children's best to know that other children are being taken care of and making sure parents are making sure that babies are right, you know, being brought in and at least checked on, you know, for sure. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with trying to help children any way there is. Yep. But that's what this looks like. I mean, it just looks like drugs, man. That's all. What's up, Tired?
Now in 2026.
I'm so
let's dig into
tired.
these motions filed by Christina Sider's attorney. I want to bring in Ron O'Brien. He is the former Franklin County prosecutor. The elected prosecutor was for many years in Columbus, Ohio. So, Ron, thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate it.
I'm glad to talk with you again about this very interesting case.
Yes, it's very interesting, and we have more questions than answers at this point.
It's
so,
good to hear,
Ron,
Lisa.
Talk to me, if you would, about
people do
let's
survive.
start with the competency request.
People do get out.
This is now the third defendant of the four in this case
Karma's somewhere.
who
I
is
don't know where he is.
raising
I
the
think he's
issue
in there
of
on the
competency. Are you surprised by that?
No, not at all.
Y'all want to see? I'm going to post this picture. It's the cutest picture of Karma. I was getting him mad, dude. And he stood up on his back legs like a fucking squirrel. And he sat like that for at least 5, 6, 7 minutes, man. I was pointing at him. I was like, you don't move, buddy. You're mean. Because he scratched. He was like playing a little hard. And he don't know when to quit. Karma don't know when to quit. He plays overly, like expeditiously plays. Like, when I'm done playing, he's done fucked me up. He likes to keep going. And will jump on my arm, jump on my fucking back and shit. He's wild. And yeah, I had him. He was up like this on his little hind legs, standing straight up for like 5 minutes, man. Straight up. I was laughing. I took a picture of him. He's looking mean at me. I love that little kitty.
I think
he's
just by the
overly
nature
mean,
of
though.
the offense itself, what's publicly been disclosed, you have to even ask yourself, what are these people doing? What are they thinking? How did this happen?
He was looking at me like, what are you doing?
16 children, or actually 18 children born over a period of 15 years, some of them twins, but wondering what's going on there. And so, as many people will.
I don't like when he pulls his rabbit feet out on me. That's what I don't like. He likes to use his rabbit feet. And when he puts his back feet up and starts fucking kicking me, I'm like, damn, bro, chill out.
People ask themselves, is there something wrong with them? And so I think that itself causes you to think that maybe there should be a preliminary psychological exam of the defendants.
So we have Grandma now. Her attorney, Kanda Roberts, is with the Ohio Public Defender's Office. So they're going to do everything they can to help their client, of course, as any defense attorney would. Yeah, they do hurt. What's the next step here? I mean, the judge, I'm assuming, Judge Rogers, is going to say, yeah, let's go. Let's do it. Let's order the competency evaluation. So what do you see happening as Grandma's competency is evaluated?
I think you're correct that the trial judge will order the competency.
Every one of them are going to do it, man. So Grandpa's already getting it done. Homeboy Gary's already filed for it. Now grandma's filing for it. Elizabeth is the only one left. I'll tell you something, it means a lot if she don't. That will mean something if she don't. Remember, like she could have put in a gag order, and her lawyer didn't put in a gag order. He's on like podcast talking and shit. So maybe he doesn't even like he's ready to go. Like, you know what I mean? Like maybe I don't know, man. It would just be wild to me, man. If all like, how can 4 adults all be crazy enough to allow their children to live that way? Your grandbabies. You can't all 4 be that crazy. The numbers just don't add up.
Sometimes the defense attorney offers more to the judge as a basis to order the competency exam, such as when I visited the offender in the jail. They couldn't tell me about the offense, or they talked about other things, or they couldn't remember things. Kind of the questions that the psychologist is by statute required to look into. But in this case, it was a bare-boned motion that merely said, I have questions whether or not the defendant's competent. Therefore, I'd like to ask for an exam. Despite the lack of reasons being offered, I think the trial judge will order the competency exam, perhaps just based on the offense itself, the age of the offender, and the request by the defense attorney. Because they're obviously, she may have interviewed the defendant for hours in the jail and reached that conclusion herself, but she just doesn't want to talk about it in her motion. So I think it will inquire into those 2 basic questions. Do they understand the nature and quality of the charges against them, which shouldn't be hard, I think, to understand. You're charged with endangering children, causing their harm, and by neglect, essentially. And then the second point that is always necessary is, can they assist their lawyer in providing a defense? And that's more often the basis for someone being found incompetent.
Can they all 4 be incompetent, though? Really? Really? They're all 4 incompetent? So just fuck the kids, right?
Let's say, let's just do a hypothetical here, that the reviewer and the court find that she is incompetent to stand trial. That doesn't mean that competency can't be restored. We've seen that in a number of cases over the years where somebody is deemed incompetent, then they are sent to some type of institution and they work on them by whatever means that is, to get them to a level where they can assist in their own defense.
I think that's exactly correct. What will happen
it happened in Daniel Larson's case. Yeah, Daniel Larson was getting trolled bad, dude, and he flipped out.
Order the exam, she'll probably be examined in the county jail, unless this second motion they filed about a reduction in bond that they can post is granted. But she'll be examined in the county jail, interviewed by a psychologist appointed by the court. They will ask her background questions, questions about the offense, questions about her relationship with her lawyer, and usually they administer psychological tests.
Yeah, but with Daniel, they did the same thing to him because he wasn't competent the first time he started going to trial. So they housed him away for 2 fucking years. Yeah, Daniel's free now. They housed him away for 2 years, then come back and basically gave him 2 years, and now he's out. Yep. They got him to where he could stand trial, and he come back, stood trial. But they put him away for 2 years. Plea deal. Usually they offer some type of plea, no doubt. Usually, I mean, almost every case. The only cases that I usually don't see plea deals is like federal cases where they know they got you, and they just don't give a fuck about a deal or not. You know what I mean? But like usually all state cases, they offer some type of deal.
Determine reasoning and understanding, communication.
Yep. You'll go to a mental prison.
Things,
it's like a prison.
If you're charged with a serious crime, being able to talk with your lawyer about. So they give a battery of psychological tests, and that then is part of their report, and then they render the conclusion one way or another. If there would be a finding by the initial examiner that she's incompetent, the state has the opportunity to ask for a second exam. And at least if it would come out contrary to that, the court itself then can appoint a third examiner kind of as a tiebreaker, or can consider the two competing.
Jesus Christ, man. This shit's going to take forever, ain't it? It's going to be a long trial. None of these people, well, yeah, quite obvious, ain't it? It's quite fucking obvious, ain't it? Yes.
Examination.
It has to be before conviction.
First, representing the defendant.
That's the plea bargain you're taking, is the Alford plea.
Or no, in that case, I was representing the victim. Under Ohio law, the victim has a right to their own attorney. And after the first exam, they determined that he was incompetent to stand trial. I asked the prosecutor to seek a second opinion, which they did. And the second opinion reached that they were competent. And the report that that examiner provided caused the first psychologist to change their mind. And there was then a finding that they're competent. So, I used to like to call some of these kind of exams voodoo science. But
Alford plea is usually something where you've given up something, and then you plea out to whatever they agree to you with. Like, they'll be like, "Well, give us this, and we'll give you this." But Alford plea will be like, I don't know, a bunch of different things. Yeah, that's what I thought too.
They're professional opinions by the easy availability to the defendant, which is.
Also said that her client has cooperated with this investigation. She said she was interrogated for hours at the sheriff's office on the day that they were arrested without counsel present. So what does that say to you? I mean, she is dropping these nuggets for the judge to say, look, my client's not a threat to anybody, not a threat to the public. She's not a flight risk. She's 66 years old. She doesn't have a prior criminal record. She's been cooperative. Is all of this just to show, it sounds like she's just arguing like, look, this wasn't my client's problem.
No, it's kind of like a in between. I could be guilty, but I'm not going to tell you I'm guilty. That's what that is. You know what I mean? I could be guilty. You probably got enough to tell me that I'm guilty, but I'm going to tell you that I'm guilty without telling you that I'm guilty. That's what an Alford is. Yeah.
She's just letting these people live in her house.
I think that's exactly setting up a defense, number one. But number two, probably true. She's 66 years old. They are the younger members of the family's children. And I don't know what her mental state is from the looks of her husband, and the statements by her husband's lawyer. It sounds like he may have more problems than she did in trying to live day to day and address issues.
What you up there doing?
It's just
what you doing?
I think setting up the defense, but it also likely is factual.
Interesting. Well, it's going to be interesting to see where this goes and where the judge allows it to go. Because there's still the fact that these people shared addresses in Gallia County. So they were living together at a house on Honeysuckle in Gallia County when the truancy action was filed. So and
they all took off running. Tell her, stop it, Kitty.
People have been living together for a really long time.
Right, and
What's
you would
up,
think
Cuddy?
also with regard to that issue that a grandparent would understand that it's in the child's interest and required by law that they attend school when they reach a certain age. And most of the children, or at least more than half of them, are over that mandatory minimum age. And as we talked about last week, they, in fact, had truancy charges filed on them that never went forward because they couldn't get service. So either they left that place and didn't leave a forwarding location in Gallia County, or the sheriff's office or children's services down there, or the truancy officer. Each school district by statute has the ability and does appoint what they call a truancy officer. And so all of them didn't follow up once they filed the charge.
Mm-hmm.
So their fault.
Yeah, it's really something. You would think that Gallia, when they tried to do that, would try to put out a,
Can the judge stop her from having more kids? What's up, Cut? What's up, Cuddy? Could the law stop her from having more kids, by God? Take her and get her fixed. No more kids. No more kids. Fuck no.
Be on the lookout or something. But I don't know how all of that works.
I'll
We
fix
don't do
her.
a lot of truancy cases here on Law and Crime, but now we're dealing with one.
I didn't think
Ron
so.
O'Brien, thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it.
Hey,
Thank you,
very much.
Anjanette. You are awesome. You've been covering this case pretty dang good, and I like your coverage, Anjanette. I really, really do,
Good
darling.
to see you. So as of now, all three defendants, Christina, Gary Jr., and Elizabeth, remain in jail on that $300,000 bond. Prosecutors have not responded to these motions filed.
Yeah, fuck those motions. Fuck those motions. I'd wipe my ass with them. I would wipe my ass with those motions. Oh, you think she should walk? Wipe my booty with them. I'm not kidding. None of these people should be out of jail. What are they going to do out of jail? Where are they going to live? She said, I want to get out to be reunited with my kids. No, bitch. No, bitch. There will be no reuniting with them right now. Are you crazy? She's probably got a no contact order. Yeah, man, this is kind of crazy. I bet you anything that she's going to be next that claims crazy. Absolutely. But she could also be the only one that doesn't claim crazy and kind of shifts it a little bit, the blame away from her, maybe. Maybe, excuse me, maybe lean towards maybe being the victim too. You know? Maybe I don't know. Like these three crazy people had me and I just didn't know what else to do. Like it could be that. So you got to think about it, man. Once you start having like 8 kids with somebody, where else you going to go? Like, you think you're going to be able to co-parent? You think like you might as well just stay with each other at 8 kids. But no, they had 16 together. You think so, Angela? I would think that would be her. I would think that would be her only defense, right? When you look at it all, unless they claim crazy. Like, we don't even know about a lot of these kids. Are they crazy too? She was a child, a very young child. 15 is young. That is very young to be doing this crazy shit. But they're gonna have to determine like when this all started. You know what I mean? I think prosecution's gonna have to start with that, like determining Like they might talk with the kids, see when this all started, because you got to think it started at some point, right? But every house they said they did trash. So maybe every house that they lived in, they treated like that one. You got to think so because the kids aren't going to school. You've raised 16 kids, some to 18 years old, and none of them have been to school. None of them. Like, that's a lot of kids in school age to not ever be in school. I want you guys to watch something too. There's a interview channel called Atlanta Street Interviews. And he goes around Atlanta interviewing the homeless, the drug addicted, and then he follows around some of the ones that have like an aura about them. You know what I mean? So like there's like gossip around it and all that. And he also has a site where he posts porn videos where the women get and the men do things and gay people do things, and like one of those sites, right? And he puts some of them on there by paying them money. Well, the other day, it was about 5 days ago, I think, I don't know when, it was a few days ago. He got 3 people in an interview, right? One dude was 29, one chick was 18, and the other one was 18 on the interview. So during the interview, Marcus, the interviewer, says, all right, well, we're going to do spicy content. We're going to get you guys an Airbnb and we're going to film you fucking. And I'm going to give you bread. And they were like, all right, good, 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 all right. He posted that video to the site, right? To his website where people pay extra money to go over there and watch it. He posted that to the site. 2 hours later, after that video was posted, a Bolo poster come out. A be on the lookout Bolo poster of a 17-year-old little girl missing. And do you know that one of those girls in that video was one of the girls that they were looking for? Went out there, done an interview with this little kid, didn't even know she was a kid, went over there, did fucking porn videos with her, and put it on a site. Put it on a site. And then a missing photo came up of her. Yeah. So he's like, he got an attorney and shit, and he don't know if there'd be a lot of videos on his channel anymore. Pray for him. Yeah, that's bad, y'all. That's bad. That's bad. But you know what he did? He immediately went and took the videos down. Supposedly, he put the girl on a Greyhound to wherever she was supposed to go and got her out of town. Took all the videos down of them. And like, is trying to like act like, I don't know. It's really weird. It is. But I want you guys to have a beautiful evening, man. You think 6 kids is too many? I'm all for a huge family, right? I'm actually for the biggest family you want to make. You want to have 16 kids, have 16 kids. But I'm also for you have to be able to financially take care of those children. You have to be able to physically take care of those children. You have to be a good parent, you know? Because if this had been a different story, this would have blew up to mainstream and everybody in the world would have been wanting to help this family. But instead it's a different thing, you know? Instead it's a bad thing. I think if it could have been switched around, it would have been a good thing. Like, I'm all for that, but I just think you should be able to take care of your children, man, the right way. The right way. Before you start having any. in my book. Like yeah, you should know you should be able to take care of your baby before you ever even have any. Damn. Like, but the problem is welfare is going to want Gary Jr. to work. Yep. This can't be from just laziness. This can't be. Obviously, they were lazy. Obviously, they were fucking lazy. Look at the joint, man. That place was trash, y'all. I just was like, wow, dude. Like, how many cockroaches can one house have? Like, how many cockroaches could one fridge and freezer have? And the thing is, man, you can get rid of cockroaches. You can. I don't know how easily you're going to do it when they're that bad, but you could definitely start. All right, everybody. Shout out to the Lighthouse Girl in the house. Everybody, you guys have a great evening, man. Thanks for hanging out with me. I appreciate y'all. Salute to the gang in the house. I will see you guys again tomorrow evening. Stay solid and stay aggressive, baby. I love y'all.